listening to the RMPodcast, the official podcast of Red Moon Productions. Here are your hosts, Brandon Davidson, Keith Cheatham, and Sean Sebastian. Enjoy.
Another episode of the Red Moon Podcast, live every single Tuesday night, right here on all your favorite social media networks at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch the downloadable version on your favorite podcast catcher app on Thursdays at midnight. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host, Sean Sebastian, and Keith Urban. Keith Urban. We've got Keith Urban right here on the show.
That's right.
So glad he's joining us tonight.
I got a bone to pick with your wife.
Uh-oh.
You can have her.
I'm sick of seeing her face every time I go see a movie.
Yeah. Well, apparently,
Wait, who's he married to?
He's married to Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking of?
No.
I was thinking of Carl Urban.
No, not Carl Urban.
Because he's one of the Rohirrim, isn't he?
Carl.
Yeah.
Isn't that
He's
Carl
one of
Urban?
the boys, too.
Yeah. He's also Bones in the JJ Star Trek.
I was thinking
He's been in every nerd thing.
He's Judge Dredd, too.
That's right.
He's
and he's the executioner in Thor Ragnarok.
Gosh,
that's what I'm saying. He's been in every nerd thing.
Well,
He loves all that
listen here,
stuff.
Keith Urban. I got a bone to pick with you about Carl, your long lost
But
brother.
I like Carl. Carl's the good Urban.
Yeah.
I don't think they're related. Maybe.
They are both Australian, though.
Yeah, they might be. That's why I didn't think
I
about
think
that.
there's got to be some connection there.
Let's say maybe they are
Maybe there's
related.
a lot of Urbans in Australia.
Maybe.
There could be.
Maybe Carl doesn't claim Keith. I wouldn't.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the song that I didn't know anything about Keith Urban. Never listened to his music.
He's married to Nicole
I
Kidman.
can't remember his...
I've heard Keith
He's had
Urban
a couple hit
songs, but yeah, I
songs
can't think of one off
country,
the top of my head.
obviously.
Well, the one that I listened to it was the only time I ever really heard him and liked the song was what is it? I'm gonna remember it in the review. It was
Probably
don't.
terrible.
something I found in high school, and I was like, I like this. This is good. And then sure enough, I realized it was Keith Urban.
Obviously, he's Googling it.
Yeah.
It'll be the
Search for
first song
songs.
that comes up. It's like his biggest one. That I would say our normies like me know. I want something with you or something. I can't remember it. Daggone it. Why is it? It's slipping my mind. All I know is that look, they would sell 10 times more movie tickets.
I don't want to. Yeah.
was
if
him.
Nicole Kidman and him were both in that theater.
Yeah.
Because here.
She never goes to see
They
a movie
are.
with her husband.
Somebody
goes by
Like
herself.
You was a huge one in 2002.
That was it. Somebody like you.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I want to love somebody.
Yes, somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
And he was singing about Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. Not at that time.
Yeah, he was.
They
They've
were
been
not
together a long time.
He's been married to her for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think it was her, though, at that time. When did they get married? Because that
Let's
song
find out.
came out in like 04,
02. It came out in 02.
02.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I got that song 2 years after it was out. I've never been hip with the trends. He is in this. He is investigating.
It's literally our opening conversation.
Apparently, he has a song
Keith
called
Urban.
"The Fighter" with her or about her, so that's interesting.
But
I know I'm getting there. I went down a rabbit hole. My bad.
you can't do that. We're on live. We got to get to the facts.
Facts. Yeah, Keith Urban met Nicole.
Just put Keith Urban and see what
I
pops
did,
up
but
on
it
Google.
doesn't get it. It doesn't get that specific. All that pops up is the songs. They don't care about when they met.
Yes,
when
they
he met
do.
her.
I guarantee you. You scroll down. It shows.
2005 is when they met.
See,
so
you didn't
after.
have that song after.
But you do start out, but it only shows you when they married, not when they met.
That's all I care about.
Well, they didn't get married before they met.
Yeah.
So.
That's all I care about.
But the Google, when you scroll down, it shows you when they married, not when they met.
I was looking for a rough estimate.
Okay.
I was looking for a rough estimate.
Well, they met in 2005. I don't know when they married. I'm not looking
That's
that
what
up.
I'm saying. If they met in 2005 and the song came out in 2002, then they weren't together yet.
No, they weren't.
I wonder when they married,
Jeez.
Gosh.
though. Now, nobody can, look, for all the times that we go in and see an AMC movie,
I
and
want
we
to
roll
know.
our
After you
eyes.
find that out, I want to know when her and Tom Cruise got divorced.
That was early.
I thought that was in the 90s still.
Yeah, it was. That had to have been before
they married in 2006, so they were together a year, I guess, aroundish, maybe.
Okay. I would think that I'm going to guess.
He's also 5'10", if you want to know.
She's Australian, too.
He's short.
Yeah.
And she's tall.
She's tall.
Yeah.
She's a tall drink of water. That shows you, though, height
she used
doesn't
to be
matter.
good looking, too.
She did. Before the plastics.
Yeah, before she carved her face up.
Mm-hmm. Can we confirm she's had surgery?
Oh, yeah, she's had surgery.
I don't know. Is this a Michael Jackson
thing?
She's got
duck lips now.
Does she deny it? She definitely does look a little bit more gaunt.
She's looked like she's had surgery for years.
She does.
Yeah.
She looks more pale and
she can't
like a vampire.
She's always been
Have you
pale.
seen the
She's
I Love
redhead.
Lucy movie? She can't move her lips.
Yeah.
I thought that was the acting.
No,
Wait,
just
can you
her
do that
face is
again,
stiff.
Keith? Can you do that again?
Yeah.
I can't talk because
Ricky. Because here we are. Or what? How was it?
No. She said, I don't know what that was.
What'd she say at the movie thing?
Because here
they are.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Whack, whack.
Hey.
Yeah, she's had some stuff.
I'm not gonna say she hasn't.
He probably has too.
I've always liked Nicole Kidman. I especially to me Prime
Days of Thunder.
Oh freaking Batman
Moulin
Forever.
Rouge.
She plays Chase Meridian.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Batman Forever. I was like, as a kid, seeing that. I mean, I kind of already. I mean, obviously, I knew I had crushes on girls.
Yeah.
But that was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time you're like, Yep.
Teenage
and I just
arousal.
Plus the fact that you just want to be Batman when you're young anyway. So it's like Batman, and I get that, and I get to fly
she
around.
She had Botox done in 2011.
That was.
I mean, what Hollywood star does?
I mean, I
Kilmer
know,
Batman,
but
right?
I mean,
it was.
It's the bad amount of Botox that makes your face like Courtney Cox. Or
talk about a woman that's just she should have cut back.
Yeah.
That's what they need. They need to celebrities go sober. They need to be sober from Botox and other injections.
Like there's ones that like
cosmetic surgeries
age gracefully, and I would say look way more beautiful because they have let themselves age gracefully.
Not an actress, but man, is it Susanna Hoff Summers, who is the Bengals lead singer? Not an actress, but man, she is aged gracefully. I'm just saying. Look her up. Look her up during the review. That woman is. She's a good-looking woman.
You know, I'm going to tell you this.
We have to talk about something other than this movie. Because this movie is terrible.
Let me tell you this. Because
reviewed.
This is the second time I forgot what we had actually reviewed since seeing this movie. That's how unmemorable. Because before I came to do the review, I was thinking, crap, I got to write the review. What did we watch again? And then I was like, oh, that's right.
Crazy. Yeah.
And I'm going to mention it now. Godzilla, Kong, New Empire. And then just now, I was like, oh, crap, we haven't got to the review. I was like, what's the review again? Like, I was just thinking that. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, I keep forgetting that's the movie.
I'm with you. I'm in the same boat. But no,
People loved it. People loved it.
It's been
bastards.
It's been doing great at the box office. It's been fantastic, like in terms of way better than Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
that flopped.
And that was a better. Like,
movie.
It was a better movie.
Sure.
We didn't give it a great review, but it's still a better movie.
Yeah, It's weird. This one,
I mean, in ways, I guess was more entertaining, but
not really.
Yeah,
it's weird. I think I was more bored or maybe more disappointed by Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, it was so ridiculous. I was like, y'all are not even trying to be even somewhat clever here.
I mean, there were moments
we were expecting it to be a little bit better than it was,
and there were moments where you had the glimpses of hope.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, this is something.
Yeah.
There's no hope for Godzilla.
As soon as you see the trailer, I was just like, yeah, that movie's gonna be garbage.
Yeah, and sure enough, we're let's just dive into our review and
you listen to it.
Yeah, here's our review of Godzilla Kong: The New Empire.
With Hollywood franchises and blockbusters failing left and right, Godzilla, Kong, The New Empire, latest film in Legendary Pictures' MonsterVerse, conquers the weekend box office. With an $80 million domestic debut and $194 million worldwide, the movie has received a less than lukewarm reception from critics, yet at the time of this writing, holds a 92% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So whose opinion is right? Is this another case of critics just not getting it? Or is this just another Transformers-like phenomenon of fans just wanting mindless action? Directed by Adam Wingard, who also directed the previous film Godzilla vs. Kong, with Rebecca Hall returning as Dr. Eileen Andrews, alongside Haley Hoddle as Jaya, Dr. Andrews' adopted daughter and the last member of the Iwi tribe. When Godzilla goes on a world tour absorbing nuclear energy, Monarch believes he's prepping for a massive threat. Jaya begins having visions that match recent seismic readings, and the resurfacing of Kong, who has been living in Hollow Earth since the last film, leads Dr. Andrews and the rest of the main cast on a trip into Hollow Earth, where a new tribe of Kongs and their dangerous leader, Scar King, are found. Scar King, who wants to conquer the surface, has at his disposal an ancient titan that once caused the Ice Age, Shimo, requiring Godzilla and Kong to team up to take out this new threat. Amazingly, my summary is actually much more concise than the film, and highlights over some of the more convoluted aspects. To put it simply, Godzilla Kong New Empire embraces the most ridiculous aspects of the MonsterVerse and runs with it like a steam engine running out of track over a ravine. Wingard in a recent interview cited his favorite Godzilla films, many of which came from the Showa era of camp and overindulgence, and it seems fans have accepted it as such. With over-the-top action, the film showcases a smorgasbord of titans duking it out. And if all you want is mindless action and giant beasts pounding each other into submission, New Empire is the film for you. Sadly, however, the film is the cinematic version of dangling keys in front of a toddler's face. It's devoid of substance in all areas, from poor dialogue and an even worse plot that is overly convoluted in lore, yet also pathetically underwritten when it comes to narrative structure and characters overcoming threats. The characters have no depth, no arcs, or development. They are there to simply provide exposition and provide more Deus Ex Machina solutions, which Hollywood has gotten so good at recently. Yes, the only enjoyable part of the film is marveling at how ridiculous it is, and watching as it continues to get dumber and dumber. And of course, giant monsters fighting. And while for many the fights are what they came for, no plot required, I hate to say even those felt lackluster. Godzilla vs. Kong was also a poor film, but the final fight versus Mechagodzilla was still a spectacle. The fights in New Empire lack any charm or compelling choreography, with real-world physics thrown out the window, and every global landmark demolished in their path. The ridiculous beatdowns were either not ridiculous enough or just plain stale. So while I suppose I understand the 92 score from the aspect of mindless fun, I personally didn't feel New Empire provided much of that. Yes, there were times I laughed, not when the film intended me to, but still some moments I was entertained by the stupidity. And maybe if the film had truly doubled down on that, I'd have loved it completely. It ultimately felt like a dull kind of dumb that might be interesting to watch once, but isn't dumb enough to become a kitsch gem. I give Godzilla Kong the New Empire 1.5 out of 4 stars.
There you have it. 1.5 out of 4 stars.
This ain't working.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Hold on.
I know.
I love Apple.
Technology.
Did I tell you that?
Stream Deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apple's just great.
Yeah.
It's going to work here in a sec. About to find out.
Don't blame it on Apple. You just forgot to start it up.
No, that was the thing.
Should automatically be good.
I updated to the latest version of the Mac, Mac OS, it worked fine. I never had to start it.
What are they on now? What OS is it now?
Is this whatever their latest? Is it? Oh, now they want me to install an update for the. Maybe that's what I need to do. I skipped that version, but there you go.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I know. Terrible.
Yep.
Plus, I got the camera. I got or over there our slider going now. But yeah, let's talk about some terrible Godzilla Kong New Empire action. 1.5 out of 4 stars.
Yeah.
Well, as we were somewhat talking about, before the review and during the review, not a lot here to really discuss other than just wow
the magnificence.
Oh gosh. I saved it.
So many things happening.
I saved it. I was worried about the Elgato, the Stream Deck. I'm back now.
It's working. We're good.
But no, I don't know. I'm just overall, I'm tired of seeing these franchise films come out and just live off their name alone.
That's all it is.
Because we were talking about it during the review. We brought up Fast and the Furious. We talked about how I even brought up the fact that you take a sci-fi made-for-TV movie like Sharknado, where they're intentionally being tongue-in-cheek and over the top, and it kind of got popular because of that. Even though at least a good decade before that movie came out, we were at your house, Sean, spending several nights watching the worst sci-fi movies because they would air them like back to back.
Yeah, man, I still remember watching Ogre. That was
yes,
that was great.
Yes, yeah.
Ogre
John
was great.
Schneider in it.
And that's the thing, like and they would air them at like it was like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
We turned them on Saturday morning, and it was like, what are we watching?
Yeah.
This is great. And so I think of things like that, and I'm like, this is just them when they finally got into Sharknado 2 and 3 and 4 and on up. It's like, okay, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. It's
The
literally
charm's worn off.
Right,
Yeah.
the charm is not there. It's like Tommy Wiseau coming out trying to claim that The Room is a serious from a serious drama. To no, we meant it to be comedic.
Yeah.
No, it's like, come on,
Nope.
come on, man. You're not fooling anybody. This movie's not fooling anybody. It was atrocious. Just not even. I'm surprised you gave it 1.5.
That's 1 star more than I gave it.
Oh,
Really? You gave it half a star?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, there were things that did entertain me. It's just why I stuck with it. Like I said, the scene with Kong and the baby monkey. There's a few of those scenes that were funny. As bad as it was funny. Like it was the type of like, okay, this is over the top funny. Was like the Godzilla in the Coliseum, and some of the little like with Mothra. Like Mothra's always been like my second favorite kaiju from Godzilla. I got Godzilla's first, then Mothra for me. So that was cool to see Mothra like reintroduced, as ridiculous as it was. But that was hilarious. But that was also the thing is it's like that's what ticks me off too though with fans is because it's like as much as I can look at things that come from like the original Toho Godzilla movies or like Marvel when they pull characters from the comic books like Charlize Theron's character or what's his name that was at the end of Eternals. And I'm like, yeah, it's like that's cool. Like you got those characters from the comics on screen now, but it's still a garbage movie.
How you
and it
use
doesn't
them.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with this. It's like fans are like it's 92% over 2,000 verified reviews, Rotten Tomato, the user score, and it's the biggest thing at the box office all year so far.
I mean,
and
I
I'm
hate
just
to say it, but at
amazed.
some point you kind of have to ask, like, or it's like, okay, he knew what the secret sauce was. It's like, I mean, that's the weird thing. The
It's just a
director,
mindless action movie.
but that's what's
destruction movie.
weird. Like, I don't even know what people are like. Even the destruction of all the world's like greatest eight wonders of the world. I'm like, all these monuments. I'm like. They're not even fun to watch. It's just you get tired. I'm like, well, there goes a pyramid. There's another one. Oh, there's another landmark that's going away, like being destroyed.
Honestly, the fight in the last one against Mechagodzilla was better.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, the first one when like he holds the thing's mouth open and like, or was that whichever? It might have been King of the Monsters.
No, in the first one,
That was
he
the first one.
Yeah,
rips the
that was
jaws
amazing,
apart.
and
Yeah.
they've not done anything like unique like that now. And now they have like zero gravity, them floating around beating each other. It's like this isn't cool or unique. Like,
forgot about that.
I'm like, what?
No,
like
I'm
no
just like,
physics
yeah.
applied. These giant monsters are just.
I mean, they are
flying
in
around
Hollow
like,
Earth.
I'm
yeah,
just,
it's stupid.
As funny as the movie was at times, like just because of how absurd it was, I'm done giving stars and good ratings just because I was slightly entertained.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
not doing that anymore.
Or because you're a fan.
it's just
of,
a crap movie.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not going to give you a good star rating for a crap
Yeah,
movie,
absolutely.
no matter how funny or whatever it was.
My thing
It's
is,
just-
am I really going to rewatch this again? No, I don't see myself rewatching this movie. Really.
Well, just it lacked
Oh,
any
no.
kind of heart. I mean, they're even with the plot that you call it out in your review perfectly. It's like you explain the plot, I think, better than the movie does.
Yeah.
But then you realize just how bloated it is for the type of movie that it purports to be, and it's like, why not? One, if you're going to embrace the strength of just being a visual, feast for the eyes of just mindless action, then just go that route and actually choreograph and spend the time to make these scenes cool. I mean, John Wick is the most basic plot that you could probably have in a movie, and yet they make it thrilling and enthralling from set piece to set piece. One, because the set pieces themselves are amazing at showing off what the movie's about, which is his skill set of how trained, how good a trained assassin he is.
Yeah.
But also the fact that, okay, there's a little bit of motivation in every single scene and every single fight of his purpose to survive. In this, it's like, they're throwing out all of these even the one subplot about Kong breaks his arm and they have to put this robotic arm.
Frostbite.
His
Yeah,
arm
frostbite.
has
Frostbite. That's
It was
right.
frostbitten.
It's frostbite.
Yeah.
He
It was
had-
overwritten. Well, all of it was overwritten.
And they, of course, they had
and
an injection
underwritten.
that just heals everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Completely.
But then also they have enough time while this other enemy clan of
Right.
apes are coming after them.
Right. Less than a mile away.
He literally has enough time to fly
Yeah.
to this base where they already have a
Yeah.
working prototype, fly it back
Yes.
and put it on him, all just in the nick of time so
Yeah.
that when they bust through this force field,
And
boom, there they go. They're ready for the fight.
And that's what I mean by like the plot itself is like overwritten. There's too much, but then when it comes to the actual exposition and details of this plot, it's all underwritten. It just happens. It's like everything's a Deus Ex Machina where, oh well, we have a solution for that already. Oh well, then we have a solution for that already too. It's like everything has a solution.
Right.
We don't have to work for
There's
it.
never any stakes.
Oh, that's funny too with the bunker that has the arm in it and all of that stuff. It's like when they get to that place, which is just what I thought when I was in the theater, when they get there and everything is destroyed, they don't mention once that there's a secret bunker there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until later when they need it that they're like, oh, there's already a site or whatever here that has that technology. And it's like, where was it? And then it's like back where they started. And I'm like, why didn't you say that in the beginning? That this is
because it's the same
secret
guy
site?
that's flying there.
Right.
They
Well,
go
that's the thing.
get
Like their plane like breaks down or whatever, and they're like on foot. And it's like, okay, so there's like a bunker that had another plane in it the whole
Right.
time. You could have
Yeah,
went and got?
exactly.
It's like, why didn't you? Like, yeah,
They
it's
could have
just
flew around with the magic arm on their.
Yeah, it just
Yeah, it's just an idiot movie.
is.
Like I mean, it really is.
Well,
I think people who go and see this and actually give it a good score like that, there's something. I'm just saying, there's something wrong with you. Like that's. I don't know. You probably loved Kingdom of the Crystal Skull too.
Well, here's the weird thing. I liken it to two groups. It's either there's something wrong with you, or you are so in love with King Kong or Godzilla and the monster flicks that no matter what they put on the screen, you will enjoy.
I don't think I've
just
ever
wonder-
been in love with anything that much.
I wonder
love
if
Lord
they,
of the Rings.
I wonder
and-
if they liked -1 because that's a completely different kind of Godzilla
Yeah,
movie
true.
than what
Yeah,
America's
true.
been making and what people
Well,
are.
and you would
used to.
have, I guarantee you, people that would argue that. They would say, well, that one's a different type of film. This one is for the action and the fun. And I'm like, but I can have only so much mind-numbing ridiculousness
I've seen
going
people
on.
online
Yeah.
that have admit, like they said they love both because for both aspects. Now this one's the serious good movie, and this one's just mindless fun. It's like, but it wasn't fun. It was mindless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there wasn't
I
anything
agree.
to me that was fun.
I
And
thought
like I
this-
was.
Go ahead, finish.
No,
Your
I was
thought.
just saying, like, there's only so much, like I was saying with Lord of the Rings. Like, I love Lord of the Rings, but I still think Rings of Pooh is crap. It's like, I don't think
Yes.
there's anything I can love so much that if
I
you make
love
hot
it.
garbage.
I was going to say, I love
Yeah.
it enough to where I'm going to call out what just defiles what came
Star
before it.
Wars,
yeah.
love Star Wars. I still like Marvel. There's things I love, but I'm not going to give them a pass just because I like it.
Right.
The first Godzilla movie with is Alex Garland do that? Who did the first American?
Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards. That's what I'm thinking of.
Well, the
well,
one
that-
part of the legendary, not Roland Emmerich's '90s American Godzilla, right?
yeah, I'm talking about the one with Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, that was
Bryan
Gareth Edwards.
Cranston.
Yeah, that one, like, I'm just the CGI, and this is where we go with the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings looks better by the end of the trilogy. Even though they were all filmed at the same time, they were still increasing and developing the technology at Weta. It looks better in the third film than it does in the first. The Godzilla movies are getting worse looking as they
Yeah.
go
Agreed.
on.
Yeah.
The CGI in this movie was
Again,
horrible compared to Gareth Edwards.
The same issue that we've had with like the Fast and the Furious franchise. They've gotten so bloated with like CGI and the dam in the last movie. And one, they're supposed to survive that, and two, him just like launching himself off of it and running. It just looks goofy. It doesn't look real.
Well, look, I mean, Marvel CGI. We mentioned Planet of the Apes. The CGI in the new one of it doesn't look as good. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it's not as photorealistic
It's not
as
like
the
Dawn
other
of
ones.
the Planet, or is it Dawn of the Planet of the Apes?
Oh yeah, Dawn of the
that
Planet
one
of the
looks
Apes is
amazing.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Talk about a series where the CGI has clearly gotten
better. Yes.
And now we're going to have to find out about this Kingdom of the Planet of the
That's
Apes.
what I was. Yeah, the
Yeah, it
trailer
doesn't look that good.
That's what I was saying. The trailer, the CGI in it, like it's not bad compared to other CGI out there today, but it's worse than the previous three, which doesn't make sense. It's like, how do you go backwards?
I think you're rushed, and you obviously like. We've already known the secret in Hollywood has been we'll just get whatever production house is
Yeah,
available,
they don't care anymore. Yeah, it's just churn it out, churn
Yep.
it out.
and they got to meet a deadline, and sadly, it's like, it's really it sucks because when you do work on something that you really have a passion for, you kind of notice. I mean, even in the first movie, you don't see Godzilla till like the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
And there's like this haunting presence of him throughout.
It's all dark.
But
all the time.
But you never see him until the very end of the film, and then only then do they fully show him. It's a big reveal, and it's like, okay, this makes the anticipation worth it. There's none of that in these films. They don't entice you with kind of any wanting to know what's going to happen. The moment that a freaking chopper comes out of the air to land and pull a tooth out of Kong's mouth, you're like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah.
This is not even goofy. This is absurd.
Well, and another thing that is crazy to me is, okay, this movie, what was the budget on this movie? 200, I think.
Gosh
let me look that up.
I bet it was more.
I bet it was.
Especially you throw in marketing and everything. It has to be more.
Well, I was just like, without marketing.
I mean, anymore, I would almost suspect something this big, $250 million.
So actually, I'm actually shocked by this. The budget, and this is without marketing still, it was $135 million.
What?
Okay,
well, it shows.
But that's the thing. It doesn't, in my opinion, because look at Godzilla -1. Its budget was $15 million.
That's true.
Well, look at the first Godzilla movie, though.
Yeah.
The Gareth Edwards.
Yeah,
How much was that?
I'm sure it was cheaper.
I bet it.
No, I bet it
cost more.
I bet it might have been more because it was kind of resurrecting the franchise at the time. However, even if it wasn't, more shame. But even in this one, you stick within the parameters of the budget that you know you can produce. I hate to say it, but that's a fortune, like you were just saying, to a lot of indie houses that would love to have that kind of budget. But when
it was
you
$160 million, Gareth Edwards, so slightly more.
But even then, I mean,
just $30 million more. But still, look at it compared to.
And also look at the time difference. I mean, that was 2017 was when the Godzilla's
2014 was
2014.
Yeah, 2014.
A 10-year difference. So you're telling me that technology hasn't advanced that much that $30 million would make that big of a difference? It's like. That's pretty insane.
Okay, well, look at Avatar 2. And I know people will be like, well, that's the bar. And it's like, I hate when people are like, you can't judge everything by Return of the King. You can't judge everything by Avatar. It's like, okay, but once you hit the bar, why do you accept less? Like, I don't understand.
Right. Like, what's the point?
It should be constantly pushed higher.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the only thing that this number in terms of the box office certifies to me is that people are willing to show up for these movies because they still want to see these monster flicks.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it was the same with the Fast and Furious. Like, I'm tired of them, but people
still go.
People will still go.
Transformers is still going strong somehow.
And it's like, to me, there becomes a cost-benefit analysis. And these companies basically assume we know we're going to get butts and seats, and even if we don't, we're not going to shoot the wad and completely bankrupt ourselves because we're going to pour in everything as if this is some art house piece for these monster flicks. No, we'll give the people what they want, but we'll also cut back in costs we can't make it work. And they have to. And, I mean, so I'm not really blaming the filmmakers in that regard. I'm blaming the writers, and I'm blaming the ones who built a story that was so entrenched in CGI that it was like, you can't possibly pull off half of what your vision is well enough that it comes across as something that, to me, seems, again, heartfelt and genuine. This movie doesn't have that. It seems like just a mess on the screen, plot-wise, action-wise. I mean, again, everything is just slopped and thrown together.
Everything is just really just build up for a final, like literally the whole movie is just to get all these monsters in a final showdown.
That's it.
And I'm like, that's it. There's no real plot.
And even then, like that, again, I would have probably given it I would have given it 2 stars.
Yeah.
If the final act and the final battle would have been worthwhile.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
No.
Like, none of the spectacle in this movie, there was nothing I hadn't seen before, none of the fight scenes, there was just nothing unique about it. And I'm like, if you're going to spend not only that kind of money on this kind of film, but with that franchise, you got to do something that just reaches out and says, hey, we're different. You know, you can't just throw those monsters in a flick and say, well, people will come to watch anyway.
Yeah.
But apparently I'm wrong.
They do.
Because 90% of the people who audiences have seen this and love it.
There's going to be a third Godzilla Kong movie.
Oh, we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already talking about ideas he has. I mean, it's not official, but he's like, yeah, I've already got ideas for a third movie. I bet you do. I bet you do.
Made about $60 million so far. So
profit?
Worldwide, yeah.
No, worldwide, it's like 190 something.
Yeah, it's like altogether, it's like 190.
Well, worldwide, it's 202. But I mean, if it cost $130 million,
you meant
like $60. Well, and actually, it's probably less than that still
with
marketing.
Yeah.
They probably still haven't broken even.
Yeah, but I mean, they're
they
close.
made their money back. Yeah.
So
Actually, they probably have. If they've crossed 200 million and it was 100, they probably
broke even.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're going to gain profit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So look, obviously, most people out there who I don't know, they probably enjoyed this and think we were just
And we're just
again, we're a bunch of
buttholes.
Yep, old angry men that just need to stop being on our high horse and actually enjoy something.
One of those rare times where we actually agree with the critics, because I mean,
True.
it doesn't happen a lot. I feel like we normally do side with the audiences more.
It
but
is weird though, because I feel like the times that we agree with the critics, it's in instances like this.
blockbusters like that. I agree.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the hoity-toity Oscar films, we do agree
The
more
only
with.
reversal that's not been true in has been Marvel, because except until now.
Yeah.
But that was because it took so long for the critics to jump on board the Marvel bandwagon
Yep.
Yeah.
and appreciate it for the fandom. And then once that took over, the fans kind of still have never come down.
Yeah.
They're starting to level off.
They are. It's
just because it's so dense.
They're starting
but
to
the
hit in the
critics,
60-70 range, which is
Right.
low still.
But
yeah.
the critics were still trying to tout it and defend it
Yeah.
all the way up until they were like, we can't. This is just
yeah.
garbage.
we can't defend this
It's
anymore.
like, yeah, we know. We've been there for a while, guys. Like
Yeah.
this whole entire last phase. Alrighty, that's going to do it for our Godzilla Kong talk.
Yeah.
I think you said it right in your review. It's worth one watch. Let's move on to our headlines. So before we roll into our big headline of the evening,
Uh-oh. What you
just
got? What you
we're
got?
going to start from bottom to the top.
Bottoms up.
Bottom to the top.
I like
now
going
we're here.
bottoms up.
Bottom to the top. Now we're here. It's a Drake song.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
I wanted to start with some sad news.
Sad.
Lou Gossett Jr. passed away
Mm-hmm.
at the age of 87 last week. And I just wanted to put that out there because it's not that we missed it. The show just aired before this happened last week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I wanted to put it
Yeah.
out there. And just a sad passing.
Mm-hmm.
He won an Academy Award for, we were just talking about this.
Officer and a Gentleman.
Officer and a Gentleman. Phenomenal actor. And we have a lot of great losses in Hollywood, and it's nice to acknowledge the greats and bring them up whenever we
Just
can.
remember the greats, Oscar winners, they always have their own flops too.
Yeah.
Because he also played an asexual alien that has sex with Dennis Quaid and gets pregnant on a strange planet.
What movie is this one?
Enemy Mine.
Enemy Mine? Okay.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
It's a very strange movie.
Keith
It's,
approves.
it's, I mean, Dennis Quaid. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's all right. He went on to do The Rookie.
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah,
Dennis Quaid could do anything.
He's in Christian films now.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
He realized having...
Oh, Lou Gossett Jr. was in Left Behind.
Are you
Oh,
He was
serious?
he was
Yeah.
the president in the Left Behind, the ones with Kirk Cameron.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Not the one with Nicolas Cage.
Both
Yeah.
are bad.
Both are
Yeah.
bad.
Both are bad. It doesn't
yeah.
matter. But wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to obviously bring about that news. Just acknowledge Lou Gossett Jr. and
right.
his passing. Great loss. We're losing all the greats, as we mentioned so many times. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be looking back years down the road at a lot of the Oscar winners now being like, oh,
Yeah.
one of the greats is gone.
Oh man, Jennifer
Sadly.
Lawrence died
Ugh.
at 41. Let's hope. I'm sorry.
Wow.
She's not gonna make it to 80 something.
You don't think so?
No, she's not gonna. No.
Why not? What health problems do you think she's going to have?
I don't know. I'm not saying health problem. I think Hollywood's gonna kill her.
Oh, man.
It'll be suicide or drugs or something.
Daggone. You're
Yeah.
talking like she's Britney Spears or something.
She's gonna go, down that road.
Okay.
She's
Keith, do
crazy.
you have any prediction about Jennifer Lawrence?
No,
You don't care?
I don't.
I have a confession to make real quick though.
Uh-oh.
Now that we're on J Law,
Yeah, we can throw it out there.
I watched Passengers again.
I'm sorry.
I revisited that.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I liked it.
That's because Chris Pratt's in it.
You do this with Jupiter Ascending, and I can't take your...
I liked it until the very end. I was
No.
like, man, the last 15 minutes of this movie was god awful. But before that, I was like, this is not a bad movie. Why did I not like this?
Because it is a bad movie.
It wasn't bad.
It's a bad one.
Brandon's gonna have to rewatch
Was
it
it?
and see.
No, I have still haven't watched Jupiter Ascending again.
But
and I'm
see,
not
you
going to.
don't know if you might rewatch it and realize, oh, I was
Yeah.
wrong.
I was like, I dogged that movie when it came out, but now I rewatched it in 4K, and I was
in
just
a
like,
few
this
years
is-
you might watch New
This is
Empire.
not a terrible movie. It's
Okay,
a good concept.
Confession, I do want to watch, oddly, because I've seen it, I don't know, circling around on X, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to watch Prometheus again. I don't know if it actually will hold up better because I know how it ends. I know the story.
Yeah.
But everybody, I've seen threads where they're just like, it's a way better Alien film than people give it, or they'll be like, oh, it's a good film if you just take the whole Alien element out of it, and not try to shoehorn it into that.
I didn't
that
think,
but when you
saga.
have to
I didn't think Prometheus
imagine
was that bad.
Yeah,
But
I don't think Prometheus was
I think
terrible.
the
It
other
just
one
wasn't-
that was way
To
worse.
me, it was like Ridley Scott's Others. It was just boring.
Yes, it's
didn't
kind of
care.
dull.
Like the
That's how I felt
atmosphere
about
is
it.
not there like it is with Blade Runner and
That's true.
and Gladiator.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, I can't say Gladiator because that's a historical drama, but the drama's
But still,
there.
he built that atmosphere so it felt like that actual time period.
And Blade Runner 2049 is another one.
Oh, I like that. I like that one.
See that, and I just don't remember much about it. I don't know why. And of course, your all's favorite to joke on. I do want to check out Arrival again.
Oh,
revisit.
That was
No.
back when Denny was still.
I know. That's the only
coming
reason
up.
I'm willing to give it a
Villeneuve,
try. Is
yeah.
Villeneuve is
He made that. Yeah.
All right, but anyways, I'm
So
sorry.
you want a
I wanna
good
throw that
Denny?
out there.
It's not sci-fi, but it's a good Denny Villeneuve movie.
Prisoners?
No, Sicario.
Oh,
yeah.
Sicario's good.
He did the first
Yeah.
Sicario.
Yeah.
He made that one too. It's
Yeah.
Prisoner? Is it Prisoner or Prisoners?
I don't think I've seen
I've
that
not
one.
seen that either.
It's very good. It's got Hugh Jackman in it,
Huh.
and a kid gets
And
abducted.
he made that.
I think it's his son that gets
Okay,
abducted.
I'll
I don't
check
want.
that
Hold
out.
on, I don't want to.
I'll check it out.
Let me look real quick.
Look it up.
Denny
Denny.
Villeneuve.
Oh, I think I have seen that. Is that where his son is like being kept in a hole in the
Yes.
ground or something?
Yeah, it's called Prisoners.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
got Jake Gyllenhaal and
Jake Gyllenhaal's, yeah.
Hugh Jackman. In
Yeah,
it. It's great.
that was a good movie.
Very
I did
good
like
movie.
that.
Yeah, I
Dark,
have
yeah.
not seen it.
but very good.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
just Googled-
Denny is like he's quickly becoming, I think I think I'm starting to like him more than Nolan.
Oh.
I just
snap.
when you
Because you didn't like Arrival, you were lukewarm about Blade Runner 2049.
that's why I want to give it a try.
You were lukewarm about the first Dune, and now you like Diddy
Well, no,
more.
here's the thing.
It's like Dune
Dune-
2 was all it took.
Dune 2 is not only phenomenal, but Dune is a good movie.
It is.
I don't think it's great as good as Dune 2. No.
No.
It's a good
Together,
movie.
I think they work really well.
But
Yes.
though.
Prisoners, like I just mentioned,
Yeah.
I've heard
I haven't
great
seen
things
it. I'll
about
watch it.
Sicario.
Sicario's good.
Sicario's
But
good.
I'm just like, so far the dude has not made a movie that has just been a bust. I didn't
True.
like Arrival.
He's not made a bad movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't. I'm willing to give it a try.
I would say him and Nolan are kind of
On
even.
par?
Yeah.
'Cause look, I mean, let's
Nolan's
say-
not made a terrible movie.
Tenet is
Yeah.
not great.
It's not great, but it's
It's not terrible. Yeah, he's not made a
I'd
terrible
like to
movie.
revisit that one, honestly.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't.
I still really like Robert Eggers too, because man, the Northman and the
Oh.
Witch and the Lighthouse. I
Yeah.
love all three of those.
Yeah.
So
But okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we're way off, yeah.
Let's move on to our second
Sorry.
headline topic here, which is we're talking about notable directors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Civil War director is
Alex
done.
Garland.
Alex Garland.
Alex Garland?
Alex Garland.
Is he done filmmaking?
And it's funny because they put out this thing where and he does say, where's his quote? The exact quote, nothing's changed. Well, that's
Yeah, I'm very
yeah.
similar to that. I'm not planning to direct again in the
Yeah,
foreseeable
I
future.
wanted to get to like the actual. Okay, here we go. The full thing. Because they did mention for Garland, though, he has grown frustrated with the pressures that come from directing. He said the pressures doesn't come from the money; it comes from the fact that you're asking people to trust something that, on the face of it, doesn't look very trustworthy.
I thought that was a little.
yeah. It's like my movie looks bad; they don't trust me. It's like, well,
I just thought it was a little.
Annihilation was kind of bad.
I don't understand his. Maybe there was some more context to this answer, but he mentions like you have actresses who don't trust you because they don't know if the nudity is going to be tasteful. I'm like,
Yeah,
isn't that up to you as the director to make them feel comfortable? about
Alicia
what they're doing?
Vikander and Sonoya Mizuno are trusting that nudity is going to be dealt with thoughtfully and respectfully when cinema leans towards not doing that. So it's like, yeah, they have this feeling of, oh well, movies just want us naked, but he's been like, no, this is for artistic purposes. It's not just to get you nude. Like, is what I'm insinuating, like what I think he means here. But it's funny because he does just say for the foreseeable future he's not going to direct again.
Yeah,
he doesn't ever mention anything about like filmmaking in general because he was a writer first and. reportedly he was supposed to be working on a 28 years later with Danny Boyle, like writing that one. So it's like, well, if he's doing that, then technically he's still a part of filmmaking. He's just not directing.
Well, and concerning that, he also said, like, he's like, no, I actually do love film, but filmmaking doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists in a life and also in a broader context. I have to interact in a way without being rude like this. And he's specifically talking about, writing. He kind of exists behind the scenes. He doesn't like to go out and do the press events. And
I like him better as a writer anyway.
It seems like that's maybe more his stronger, feature set.
Yeah.
Is being a better writer. I don't know. I know Man got a lot of. Is it Man or Men?
Man. I thought it was Man. I'm looking up his filmography
that
now.
one got a lot of like critical praise, but it was kind of an art house film.
Men.
And I'm just like, immediately I kind of wrote it off because it seemed like a woke kind of art house piece that I didn't really care to waste my time with.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, we're gonna review Civil War. We're gonna go see that. That's next week, right? Not this coming week.
Yeah, it won't be our next review. It'll be the one after.
Okay. So in a couple of weeks, you'll hear our review and our opinions and thoughts. I'm intrigued, but from what I've seen from the trailer, and now this could go one of two ways. It could be exactly as the trailer plays it, which is just very, I think, milquetoast and hits on a lot of generalities when it comes to this topic, and just kind of has like a very cheesy, like, oh, we're gonna fight, but we come together in the end, and hoorah, we make
America.
up. Or they have one slighted, but we can't keep this from happening if we don't do this thing, and a very pointed message at one party politic. But or it could go in the direction of like a Get Out. I saw the Get Out trailer back. And I was just like, this is gonna be stupid.
Everybody thought that was gonna be woke.
Barbarian, same way. Ridiculous. This looks goofy. Both those movies, fantastic. Totally surprised me going to see it. Totally opposite of what. It's weird because sometimes it irks me, but sometimes I actually get a little excited when I'm like, oh, they were going after a certain kind of audience that they knew were going to come see this film, so they geared and advertised it towards them. However, whether they were pleased when they got in or disappointed because it wasn't anything like they wanted, or they attract us who are just kind of like, all right, I'm not expecting nothing. I'll go see it. And then you walk out and you're thinking, man, that was fantastic. I just feel like it's only going to go one of those two ways.
I feel like it could, either way, because I just feel like his movies have been kind of hit and miss for me anyway. Like, I love Ex Machina, and I love 28 Days Later, though he wrote that, Danny Boyle directed. But Annihilation I didn't care for, and I didn't see Men like you, but it didn't look good to me. So with Alex Garland, it's like, it's not that he's not capable of making a good movie, because I know he is. I just don't know, like, are we getting good Alex Garland, or are we getting like pretentious political Alex Garland?
Well, and that's what you kind of have to fear with anybody in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, what are your all's hopes for Civil War coming up? What are you all thinking?
I hope the thing from Annihilation's in there making those noises.
The bear.
Yeah. That was the best part of that movie.
It was, and I was getting ready to say, when you said Annihilation wasn't that good, I was like, there were creative aspects of that movie that I thought were very good.
Yeah.
I just didn't think the plot was executed very well or even written very well.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like a lackluster plot. Like, I didn't feel, I was
it's very like muddied and muddled and just plods for no reason.
But yeah, some of the set pieces and the creature design and all of that kind of stuff was very eerie and kept you wondering, like, what's going to come out of that bush.
Now, this is another one I feel like I might have to rewatch.
What is it that's
again.
in the dark that they're hiding from? Like, I mean, it's just like so much cool stuff like that. But I'm again with Civil War, I feel like I agree with you, Brandon. Like, when we saw the trailer at Godzilla, I'm still not sure who the bad guys are supposed to be.
And I think they're doing that intentionally.
Yeah. So I don't know how that's going to play out. And I guess, like, my biggest worry is the time at which they're making a film. Like, the country's a hot mess.
Right
before election.
Before election, and you're making a movie about a civil war, and people are online actually throwing the idea of a civil war out, like how we could be approaching one, and I'm like, this might not be a good idea.
It strikes me oddly as the same movie that people were criticizing back when it was like during the pandemic or right before the pandemic, and they pulled it out of theaters because they said that it was like
that was The Hunt, wasn't it?
The Hunt.
Oh,
yeah. They said it was very politically driven,
Yes,
and
yeah.
they ended up
There's
causing this controversy to try to get the creators to pull it.
It wasn't that
It
the movie
Not
was
as
Of
bad as
bad.
course
they
it
thought,
wasn't,
no.
and that's why I'm like, yeah, you think as irate as they blew up and caused that controversy around that film and got it to be pushed back. I'm like, yeah, for them to choose such a hotly I mean, whether there's a political motivation behind the film or not, I don't think there's gonna be, because again, I think they're using the name Civil War and the idea of it to stoke those kind of flames.
Yeah.
But then they're going to try to deviate and go. That's where I think there's going to be a bait and switch here that I'm not sure what it's going to be, and it could be either really good or just really bad.
Yeah.
And I also hate to say that I just cannot see Ron Swanson anymore.
Yeah.
I only
president,
see.
yeah.
I
You
know
only see,
that's not his
Bill.
name.
Last of
That-
Us.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah.
I can't. I only see him as Bill in Last of Us
Yeah.
being gay.
He can't be.
Eating strawberries and
I can't.
a dude.
You can't
Just
think
stop.
of him as,
It's
as
so
have nightmares.
gross.
Have
Dude,
nightmares now.
when they're growing them strawberries and they just
Yeah.
like straight up kiss over there, it's
Yeah.
it's the most awkward looking thing
Yeah.
ever. It's gross.
Can't do it.
You just
I just can't
you can't
watch it.
imagine him as the big meat eating
Oh, he's a bear.
libertarian. No, I'm just saying you
I
can't.
know, yeah,
the
you
meat eating
can't.
libertarian
Not
from Parks and
Big
Rec.
gay
No,
bear.
that's not him anymore.
No, not anymore.
He's no longer Ron Swanson. He's no longer the president.
Yeah,
He's
but it's
only
like, even
Bill.
though, like we were talking about though from the trailer, it's like, okay, so the way that it portrays him, his accent, his manliness, the mustache, he's the president. I think you just kind of automatically think he's probably a conservative, and that's the way they sell it in the trailer. But then
See,
I just
don't know.
I don't know if he's gonna be. Like,
to
I
me,
think it's
I hate it because they almost play it and not in a good way, because at least in a cheesy good way in Roland Emmerich's Independence Day, Bill Pullman just does a great job
Yes,
of being
amazing.
an everyman president.
quietly.
That's right.
Good night.
We will not die
Vanish without a fight.
That's it. That's it. Oh, it's
But
so
that's
good.
when I watched the trailer. That's what I
Yeah.
thought of. Is like,
Yes.
this looks like a Roland Emmerich movie almost.
But what ticks me off is what I didn't like about Nick Offerman's character as the president is I'm like, he sounds too generic. He sounds too like they're trying to play both sides, and he's saying all these plateaus or all these platitudes that I'm just like, this isn't landing as like, I'm not buying that he's a leader.
Yeah.
I'm buying that he's someone playing the president.
well,
and
maybe
I'm like,
he's just a puppet. Maybe he's not. He's just
No,
the
he
president
very-
in power.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He very well could be, and that could be like a twist. And that's why I'm like, they're gonna go some weird, quirky way that I'm just like not gonna be on board with, or it's gonna be like I want to see freaking Gerard Butler in what was that? Air Force One Down or something. Oh, I forget what it was. What was the White House? White House Down. White House Down. Where
Yeah.
was it? Oh, Morgan Freeman was the president, wasn't he?
You're talking about.
There's two different ones. There's White House Down and there's Angel Has Fallen.
Yeah,
Or
which
Olympus,
one-
is,
whatever.
Olympus is
Olympus
fa-
has
Olympus
fallen.
is
Yeah,
fallen.
Yeah.
Olympus has fallen.
They're
Well,
both
there's-
about the exact same thing.
Yes.
And which one
One's
is
Channing Tatum and one's
That's it. And
Gerard
one's
Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
But what's the
Gerard
president?
Butler is Olympus Has Fallen with Morgan Freeman.
That's who I'm thinking.
Because there's
Yeah.
a trilogy of that. There's Olympus Has Fallen. Angel Has Fallen, I think, is the third one.
Yeah.
What is the one with Channing Tatum? Is that White
That's
House
White
Down?
House
That's
Down.
White House
That's
Down.
White House
London
Down.
Has Fallen. It's Olympus Has Fallen,
Oh.
London Has Fallen, and then Angel Has Fallen.
Angel Has
I love it. I love it.
Fallen
I'd rather see
Yeah.
that kind of movie, knowing what it's going to be
Yeah.
from the outset,
Yeah.
than
Well,
okay.
I think they even try to throw you off in the trailer by when they named some of the states that have seceded.
Yep.
And California and Texas are together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not in this life would California
Right.
and Texas.
Yeah.
And they are. They're making
together.
that, and that's where it kind of pisses me off, because they're using the name and the political tensions of the today
Yeah.
to stoke those kind of embers in people, but yet they're not bold enough and brave enough to actually have a commentary on the party politic of today.
Yeah.
They can't, because one, the studio probably won't let them, and they'll be like, that hits too close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Or two, they're literally just using it as a marketing ploy because they want to set up this disaster flick, and it's not going to turn out to be nothing. And it's like they're gonna do such a bad job of muddying the waters of, oh, well, these are the politically divisive things of this movie. And it's like, see, our movie doesn't take place in the current now. It takes place in our own world where these are the issues that people care about.
Yeah.
And of course, it'll be some generic, watered down, woke message that the people care about of what caused the divide, and somehow they'll come together in the end, and they'll shake hands, and they'll make some kind of stupid reference.
United
to Lincoln.
we stand.
Right. Divided we fall. Civil War no more. Yeah. I don't know. That with all the hype from the critics, like, this is amazing.
Oh, it's getting all kinds of early praise.
Jacob Burris says Olympus Has Fallen has Jamie Foxx as the president.
Oh, I think
Is
that might be
true?
right.
Is it?
I think he may be
Which
right.
one's got Morgan Freeman as the president? Or is Morgan
I
Freeman
just saw the poster, and I
somebody
really...
else?
Yeah, that's Morgan Freeman.
Who is Morgan Freeman then?
Wait,
in the movie?
is he in the Channing Tatum one? Is Jamie Foxx in the Channing
Jamie
Tatum one?
Foxx is in the... I bet he is.
I think he's in White House Down.
White House Down.
Down. Yeah.
Which is funny that they made two movies where the white dude is saving the black president.
Right.
And they're both about... Yeah, that's kind of weird. Although I think Jamie Foxx plays a little bit more...
Oh, no. Aaron Eckhart is the president. Morgan Freeman is the Speaker of the House.
There you go.
And I think Morgan
That's
Freeman...
right. Yeah.
I think Morgan Freeman might be president in, like, the third one.
Gerard Butler and
Morgan
Aaron
Freeman
Eckhart
has
are
played the
buddies.
president.
Like he's
Morgan
buddies
Freeman's
with the
played the president, but not in those movies, either of those movies. He's the Speaker of the House. Aaron Eckhart was the president.
So then who is... So wait, who is Jamie Foxx
No.
in the Channing Tatum
I don't
one?
think
Jamie
so.
Foxx is not in Olympus Has
Jamie
Fallen.
Foxx is in White House Down.
I think it's White House Down.
Yeah.
I just want to confirm with Jacob so he's not...
White House Down.
He's not...
And pulling it up.
he didn't
Yes,
get mad
Jamie
at us.
Foxx is the president in White House
There
Down.
we go.
And that one stars Channing Tatum.
Yes.
With Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Somehow I feel like Jacob's watched that only because Melissa wanted to watch it.
No, I think some of those like the presidential type. Like
Olympus
he likes
Has
those
Fallen
movies.
is a good...
Actually, Olympus Has Fallen.
It's a good action
Anton
flick.
Fuqua made that. It's not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking all of these are just terrible.
No, White House Down is terrible. Olympus Has Fallen was actually decent.
I'll have to watch it. That's another one on my list.
If you just like a Antoine Fuqua
Y'all
action
still haven't.
film.
You still haven't watched Greenland, have you?
Nope. I still haven't watched Greenland.
Man.
I'm missing out, I guess. And watch, we're gonna watch it one day and be like, Sean, man, this movie's good. And you'll be like, I know.
Good movie
I
until
told
the last 30 seconds of the movie it ruins it.
You know what movie's not good at all?
Which one?
Moonfall. Don't waste
That's
your time
true.
on Moonfall.
That was
2012
terrific.
was better than Moonfall.
Yeah, Roland Emmerich has just been
He's
on a
gone off the
downward
rails.
turn
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yep.
But let's
Yeah.
move on to our
I still
final.
have not seen. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go
I was
ahead.
just saying, well, because I was thinking of like The Equalizer. He did those too. Anton Fuqua. So,
yeah, and those all got praised.
Yeah,
And
I haven't seen any of those.
I have
The
not
only
seen
movie
the
of his
latest
I've
one.
seen has been Olympus Has Fallen and Training Day, which was great.
Yeah.
But see, I want to see.
Oh, and he did a remake of Magnificent Seven. That one wasn't.
That
That
was
great.
not good.
Yeah,
We
that
saw
one was
that.
not-
We reviewed it.
Yeah, that one wasn't
Not
great.
good.
That had Chris Pratt in it.
I do
still
want to
wasn't
see
good.
all of those movies though. Equalizer, because we were
do.
going to review the third one that
Yeah.
came out last fall, and we were like, we got to review all of
I
them.
do want to see
if we
that.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot he did Southpaw too. That was the one with Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
And McAdams.
Yep.
Rachel McAdams.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our final topic of the night.
Hey!
AI is coming for Hollywood.
Oh, goodness.
Look
As if we didn't know, shocker, guys.
Okay.
This whole show's been AI generated.
What?
Yep.
We are not real.
We're not here.
Skynet has become self-aware.
We haven't actually
Yes.
been on this show for 3 weeks. It's all been AI.
We haven't been
We're
on this
really
show for
we're really
3 years.
out smoking cigars somewhere right now.
That's it.
We haven't even seen these movies. AI just hacks into the system and watches them and reviews them for us.
And
Yeah.
they just know
It knows.
our opinions
That's
so well.
I don't think that we can't sell that because AI would have given Godzilla 4 stars.
Actually, what's odd is I think we would have just broken AI. Because they would have been like, I don't know how to compute this.
Yeah.
I don't know how these
AI's
guys...
like I could make CG better than that.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, we got an article here from the Daily Wire, or Christian Toto, who wrote it.
Toto.
Very good article about how AI is, it's been creeping up, but it was strong talks from last year's strikes, both the WGA and the Actors Guild, the SAG, or the Film Actors Guild, as we like to
Yeah.
call them on this show.
They was real worried about AI stealing their jobs.
Well, and the fact that they wrote measures in there that A-list actors would have to be, alerted or at least gone to before they got
they
permission.
can't use their likeness without their permission. Yeah.
So if that's the case, with that being the case, is this something that Hollywood is, an impending doom they're trying to stave off that's going to completely uproot what we know of Hollywood today? Or as what we can read in the article, and again, we'll have the link to the description below, in the description below. Is this another instance of just a tool for your tool belt? Something that you can use, a creative filmmaker can use, not to completely generate it from the ground up, but use in their arsenal of creating, the next wave of, motion pictures.
Both.
I agree with the article in terms of I think it's going to be a bigger deal for YouTubers and for people without a huge budget.
Yeah.
But I think it could also be used as a tool. That's what I would hope. I hope that it's not heavily relied on. It's like I remember when The Mandalorian came out and Disney and Jon Favreau and they all touted they did a behind the scenes thing about the technology that goes into the background, this 3D background and stuff. And I'm like, it keeps them from having to go.
Or The Expanse. What's it called? I can't remember. I think it's called The Expanse.
I just know it's not just a green screen. It's literally 3D. I mean, it's amazing.
It is really awesome.
Because the actors can actually almost interact with the background. Like they can see what exactly. But that kind of technology, it takes... It keeps them from having to go to certain locations and all that. So I see that as a tool, and I don't mind that as long as it's only used in that way. Like if you're trying to completely generate an entire film, then I think you're taking the filmmaking out of it. So I agree with that. I think it'd be great for YouTubers and Twitch streamers and stuff to be able to use AI to do things that gives a higher production value or the appearance of it than actually having to spend a ton of money that they don't have, especially when their living comes from clicks and likes and subscribers. Like if you can, I think in the article it uses this Arnold Schwarzenegger dressed up like a nun and singing the video, and it's like it got 16,000 likes like in one day.
I used to send all kinds of those Arnie vids.
Yeah,
they're
but
funny.
it's like whoever created that, those likes are keeping their lights on, and that's fine. I think that's great. But if you're relying on it to make an entire film, then I feel like, I don't know, if one YouTuber's not replacing 1,000 people's jobs with the AI that he's using. Whereas in a film, if they're relying on AI, they're removing the human element from all of these different positions. I don't agree with that.
And I mean, to an extent, I agree, but also that is also the nature of advancement in technology. People complain that the assembly line put people out of work. And I mean, I'm not saying, I don't want to watch
people that work at Ford, though.
Not as many as it would take, before the assembly line. And that's kind of the point, is like they would have to get a different job in a different field, or as technology, advances, like, we have electronic devices, and I mean all of the like cable that's gone down or things like that. It just things change and the job positions come open elsewhere. And that's not to say that actors are just going to have to find jobs elsewhere, because I don't want the human element completely gone either. But at the same time, I don't mind it. Like, I see it both ways. Like, I don't mind it being used as a tool. That's what I prefer. It's like CGI. You can be overly reliant on CGI and it looks like garbage, or you can use it to finesse and make something look more real,
right?
While still trying to be practical. And that's how I would prefer more. Like, use your AI to tidy things up. I don't like the idea of like resurrecting dead people, like without. If someone were to say, hey, when I pass, I'm perfectly okay with you using me in movies.
It's like being an organ donor.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, all right, go ahead.
Whatever, that's fine. But like when you're talking about bringing, James Dean back, and he can't give consent to whether he would want that or not.
But
it's
if his estate gives us consent.
Yeah.
And I know legally that's the same difference, but I'm just kind of like, how far, it's like, let's make new stars. Like, why do we need to try to bring back the old stars?
But that's what I think is kind of weird, is there won't be new stars.
No, they'll just be AI generated fake people.
And I think to an extent, though, we've talked countless times on the show about the dangers of AI and how manipulative it can be and dangerous it can be. Because even like the Arnold video, yes, it's funny because you're seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger's face and likeness, his voice.
And we know that it's not real.
Right. You know it's fake. Now, you can translate that into how it could be misconstrued and scary if you put him in another circumstance that can seem real. Okay, fine. We can take all that and put that aside because we know that's the scary part of AI. The intriguing part of it is And I think this is why Hollywood is so, scared of what it could be, is just like any other unknown, like you said, development and technology that can uproot and change your industry overnight. It's not necessarily that your industry isn't there, but now it's completely formed in such a way that you no longer know how to approach it or identify with it. You can't actually, make the same thing that you were the day before because it's totally different now. It's a completely different industry. And I think there's that goes without saying. That's every single industry. Like you said, the fact that computers are now a part of our everyday life, you can't go back to just using a typewriter. It's not going to happen. It's not how we function. But I also think the scary part of where people get in their heads of like, oh, it's going to cost people jobs. We're going to lose jobs. This is not something that's happening. I mean, there is something to be said about how scary AI is developing on a everyday level. The speed at which it is changing our infrastructure, or how rapidly it can be once we rely on it, is scary. But right now, if you pull the curtain back, people are still so tepid about using it, or it has the littlest flaws that it isn't something you can rely on completely, that I think you still have that moment to adapt. And yeah, I think we all need to be cautious as a society. And I don't necessarily see Hollywood and the steps they've taken so far in so much as that they've wanted to completely outlaw the use of AI. Because I do think that if they take that approach, they're shooting themselves in the foot. And they're only going to rapid its pace quicker in terms of how indie filmmakers glom onto it and use it to their advantage. And ultimately, I hate to say, because that's really what the article it's diluted down to, is there are indie filmmakers who have followings that rival that of major networks or major, production houses. And all they have to do is in so much to say, well, I don't follow by those same rules. I don't have the contract that SAG actors have, that WGA writers have. I'm not a part of that union. I don't uphold to those rules. This is the creation I have in my mind. Here's the tool set that I'm going to use to create it. Who cares if I put it out there for the world to see? They see it and they digest it and they say, this is great. That's all that matters. Because the thing is how often do we see a viral instances where then Hollywood or other major industries then say, I want to go latch onto that real quick, and I'm going to take my piece of that pie and I'm going to jump onto the popularity bandwagon for our own self-made benefit. I mean, all it is I just see it democratizing the film industry for the indie filmmaker, the same way that going from old beefy film cameras to digital was, the same way that going to a phone in your pocket that shoots 4K video has done for filmmakers.
That gave birth to the YouTube star.
The same that non-linear editing on a computer, a home PC, instead of having an entire edit warehouse needed to edit films. It's like the tool set has only gotten richer for those who want to use it to their advantage. And AI can just be another tool, or it can be something that you rely on too heavily, like CGI, in which it just completely ruins your film.
Well, I'm not even just thinking about like in the next couple of years, which is where I think it'll be a tool. I'm thinking what happens when AI gets to the point where the creator doesn't have to say or type out, make me a film about this and that. The AI just makes a film on its own, whatever it wants. Then there is no human element. And that's how I would go back to the thing with Ford. It's like Ford invented, they have machines that build the cars, but there's still humans that have to fix those machines.
For now, until AI does it.
I know. But then again, that's when I think we get into the territory of you are removing the human element completely.
Technically, there's not the Skynet element so far. Every AI out there presented does not function without a human input.
Correct.
So even with the creator, because I still think that's pretty scary if you think about it. The creator being an individual who walks up and puts in a prompt, but then it gives them exactly what they want. It's like they wanted Transformers 27, and they wanted the CGI dog crap fest. And they get it because the AI is like, I know exactly what you want. And then they come up with this concoction of like,
AI would have made a better movie than New Empire.
Maybe,
quite possibly. But there's still a prompter putting in that prompt.
Yes.
And to me, when you get into where AI is
deciding on its own.
Without any human input, well, then we're on a whole different level entirely.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm not worried about filmmaking at that
Yeah.
point.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Then that's that AI will be making the film. No person will be involved other than because it doesn't require any funding either.
Well, but even then, I still think there's a human, because I think that's kind of what going to the point of it's the movie that this indie flick that's set in the 70s talk show about the devil, inviting a person on who's
I think it's called
supposedly-
Interview with the Devil.
Interview with the Devil.
Yeah.
I was intrigued by it in general, but when they
Yeah.
mentioned that they fell back on AI to help
Or
them with
Late
certain
Night with the
scenes.
Devil. That's what it is.
Late Night with the Devil.
I had to scroll through the article. I want to make sure
You're
we had
thinking
that
of
right.
Interview with the Vampire.
I am.
With
yeah.
Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Mm.
Terrible movie.
They remade that as some weird series starring a
it's-
black man.
Yep. And then I think there's like gay vampires and stuff. It doesn't
Well,
wrong with anything.
Vampires tend to be gay.
Yeah. But no, it's very weird. It's just a fact.
They suck.
I mean,
You know, it's weird because what we say now in the ether
Yeah.
is put out there on AI.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it could easily be abstracted
right.
that, vampires are gay.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
right.
AI's going to now think forever
Somebody's
that-
going to type a movie about a vampire, and of course they're going to be gay because
Yep.
we said it.
Exactly. It's not like they're already making gay vampires
right.
out there.
It's like all vampires are gay.
Yeah. They're going to be like, I need you to create a straight vampire. And it'll be like, I can't.
It can't. It's like those aren't real. But no, I don't know. I mean,
It's like, what is your source material? And then it brings up this episode.
the Red Moon Podcast.
Yeah, the Red Moon Podcast.
No.
No. I was gonna say with the movie Late Night with the Devil,
Yeah.
the fact that they depended on it very rarely and only in like 3 instances in the movie, but they simply made it a matter of fact of like this. They did so from an artistic perspective, and also from the standpoint that they are small budget. And to me, again, I think anytime Hollywood shuts out the idea or the inkling of we can't do business like we used to, that's when you usher in a new realm of people who are going to create that change. And Hollywood, I mean, like we talk like Hollywood is a single entity. It's a diverse group of people, a bunch of different entities that make up this one huge conglomerate. Yeah, they all have similar interests, and we absolutely agree that a lot of times when we talk about the Hollywood bubble, that there's people who are only around their same ideas, and it's an echo chamber of ideas, and there's not much originality there. However, when it comes to stuff like this, where you cannot resist the tour de force of people using the technology at their disposal and it gaining popularity, unless you literally want a death wish. And I think that's the same way. I mean, that is the same with Ford and making the assembly line. Cars were never going to be made the same way after that because it was like this. It would just be stupid any other way. Nobody's going to be able to compete.
Yeah.
You can't.
With mass production.
And I think the same way goes for AI. It's like trying to be, in most industries, I'm not going to say all, but most industries today without using a computer. You can't. It's just almost impractical. But I think AI is just going to be one of those tools that it's invading and it's going to happen, and unless Hollywood embraces it, and the sooner the better, because then they can dictate how it's used, and they're trying that. But right now it seems like they're more worried about resistance than they are about, well, let's see what good it can bring and what it can offer. And I don't think that's the right attitude, because that's just going to embolden the people who, not just necessarily that they want to use it, but that they have to, based on wanting to create the vision that they have in their minds.
Well, I disagree. Those talking picture shows will never catch on, Brandon.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Perfect example. In the very industry we're talking about. Perfect example.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. I do think there is a bit of that kind of like with we just saw Oppenheimer this year with the nuclear scare, and everybody. I mean, people still fear the idea of nuclear power plants because yes, there is a danger there, and I think that's always kind of the double-edged swords of with AI. People are like, well, what happens if it gets so crazy? And that's like, well, that's why it's on us as people developing it. You make the precautions and you use it as the tool for good. You don't put in motion things where it will be used for bad. So,
I mean,
we'll
and
see.
look, there's always going to be nefarious
There
people.
are,
and
no matter
actors.
what. I mean,
And even AI, it's like we've already seen how it can be created to be nefarious in terms of just not only, it's not even trying to be amoral. It clearly is immoral.
Yeah,
in
it
certain
doesn't know either
circumstances.
or. It's just like
Right.
it only knows what it's pulling out and what it's been told to learn and know.
To sparse through. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'm curious because I do think this is we're definitely in a turning point. I mean, think about what we just brought up tonight with the Kong and Godzilla, review. It's like we're tired of these franchise films. Well, sometimes it's like, okay, well, where could we go to get some originality? And it's sad because I think, and this is where I think it could be a good thing for society as a whole. And I'm going to go out there a little bit. But when you were talking about how, it's not going to be real human actors anymore, it's just going to be AI generated stuff. Okay, that is scary if you think about it, because what if you're watching a movie and it looks so lifelike and you're like, man, that woman, she's pretty attractive. Oh, she's not even real. But you know that there's parts of her that are pulled from reality to create that fake image. And yet at the same time, I also think it somewhat protects certain identities from the real human behind the mask.
Yeah.
In the sense that, okay, well, what happened? Would it be such a bad thing for society if we didn't have celebrity culture? If you were behind something,
But then all those actors are out of jobs because AI's doing the job for them.
Okay, but now there's actors that you didn't even think could be an actor because they didn't have the look or they didn't have the it factor, but they can do it because guess what? You're going to be completely overrun with CGI, and they're just going to put an AI face on you anyway. It's not going to matter.
But they don't even need an actor. Like the AIs actually do voice act. Like they literally they can create voices too. So it's like you don't need an act. Like the AI generates it completely. Yeah. And that is the thing. Like because again, I don't personally care whether it's a real person on screen or not that much. Other than the idea of it's like, well, like Sean said, then at that point it's like, what jobs are you taking away from people? Because there is a human element that you want too. It's kind of like an AI written novel. It's like it might be a really good novel, but part of like the soul and the enjoyment of it, like when you learn that like it was completely made by AI, I'm like,
to me, it's like any other form of art. It's like after a while, I mean, imitation is the best form of flattery, but after a while, I want to see something new and original. Yeah. And imitation can only take you so far.
AI can't really, it can only grasp from everywhere else. I don't like, can it make something original in and of itself? Because how would it?
It can't.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but when you went there with an AI generated woman, because this was popping in my head earlier.
Weird science.
Well, I'm just thinking of the fact that, I mean, pornography is a real thing. People are addicted to it. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't think it's ever going to go away.
Well, there's already AI generated
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If that was used for something like that, that is protecting people from. I mean, again, don't get me
porno stars out of work.
I'm just saying, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's still feeding an addiction.
Yeah.
But it's also keeping people from contracting STDs. It's keeping these actresses from getting addicted to coke because they're in that job.
I think in that sense, though,
then they can't pay their way through college.
Well, no, I'm saying it. I
think you're trading one evil for another, though.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say I wasn't,
because
but I'm just saying
he's admitting
you're
that.
eliminating that these women don't have to be treated the way they are in that industry.
But where I think that could even go even more horribly wrong is if you do have these male addicted porn, these people who are addicted to porn, and then they turn to, but now I can get this
with
personality.
AI, you can get any fetish you want.
Right, but that's the thing too, is then you can also.
Well, the only person you're hurting then is yourself, and not.
But that's always the case with pornography. You are hurting yourself.
Yeah,
you're destroying your soul.
I agree with that.
And to me, I'm sorry, but if you have more people who are like,
if you're paying for it, you're also paying for her soul too,
but
because
you've only removed one part of the equation that is. It's still, I think. It still is like a demonic behavior that destroys a society, because ultimately I think what ends up happening is you have more people who then, the normalization of it then seeps into, okay, well now I'm just going to take this form factor that somehow is more popular and more accepted, socially acceptable, because now I can actually show up with this like human robot doll that has this AI consciousness, but people will accept it because that's the technology and where we're at today.
I wasn't going that far.
I wouldn't
just
either.
the AI generated on screen porn.
Yeah.
But no, but that's
like if I want to watch midget porn, like it's like two midgets.
No midgets had to have sex
were
in the
harmed
making
in the
of this
making of
movie.
this
Yeah,
it's like
exactly. That's what I was going
I can
for.
A that out. It's like, hey. It's like, yeah, I'm still hurting my soul, but at least the midgets are safe.
That's right. I'm not paying for something that's paying her to keep doing what she's doing.
No, true. And
Still,
honestly,
they chose to do it though. Like whether not granted without AI, but
yeah.
you know.
But I think it is an abomination. To me, it's kind of where I've come down on the side of like weed as well, in terms of like, no, I don't think it's a net negative. If it's the same slippery slope that homosexual marriage got us into, in terms of just bringing all sorts of depravity. And I think the moment that you don't have, certain kind of restraints on society, you then allow and cheer you. Invariably you are kind of evoking like this rule of, okay, well, whatever you say goes, because it's your own personal depravity, so why should I care? Well, that is the very definition of destroying the community, because well, now you no longer have any community standards. You don't have anything to uphold as a standard of saying, well, no, this is what we all aspire to be to make ourselves better. You just have your individualistic, selfish notions. And I think not only does porn is it completely embedded in that.
Yeah.
Even the women themselves who purport to be part of it don't realize the damage they're doing, in that they don't understand what true love is. And they just see it as, oh, well, love is, I got all these nice materialistic things.
What's love got to do with it?
Right. Well, obviously nothing if you're into that midget fetish over there.
Yeah.
But I think it
I think
would
I was
be
just, in my defense, real quick, I'll say where I was going with that was the fact that you're mentioning something, or at least the way I took it was, okay, Nicole Kidman can do a scene, she can be in a film, but she can say, I'm not going to do that nude scene. And that's okay. We'll recreate you with AI, and the AI will be naked, and you don't really have to get naked. That's the way I was taking what you were saying.
Sort of.
And
like,
I'm saying the same thing.
I'm thinking just celebrity culture in general. The fact that you could say, well, I really like that actor, and you go look at their IMDb page, and it's like they don't exist. And to me, it's the idea that it's like, okay, well, if there's no person there, if it is just a shell of a person, I'm not saying this is preferable. I'm just saying what it instantly does, though, is it makes you either see it as, I mean, it's the same thing as, video games have their own addictive behavior in and of themselves, mainly because they're like 40, 80, 100 hours long. But if you're watching a 2-hour movie and say it is something as good or well written as Uncharted, there's voice actors there, but say those voices were made up by AI. I can enjoy that as a piece of art and as an emotional story that I just sat through. Yeah. But then I can walk away and say there's nothing no other tangible element around that. I can't go down a rabbit hole of, well, now I want this celebrity culture.
Follow this person.
I'm going to follow this person and see what they convey. And again, there's a tinge of like, it's scary because we do need role models. I think we need bigger than life people to bring us together, to shepherd us in some ways.
Do you think AI would do that? Do you think AI would create fake X posts of celebrities walking down the street?
They're going to
AI would know that we need that.
Right.
That we want that. That's fuel.
They're going to imitate what we've created before in the past,
so
which
this
is
fake
celebrity
actor
culture.
that was never actually walking down the Walk of Fame. You're going to see videos of them doing that on Twitter.
They'll give interviews.
They'll give fake interviews.
Completely AI generated.
So it won't be any different. We'll still be idolizing somebody. It just won't be a real person.
It'll be idolizing whatever the computer tells us to idolize.
But that's the thing.
It's like we programmed the computer, and now they're going to program us.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the same way as to me, you could at least file that more so in a category of, because you can detach yourself from it to say that that literally is nothing. It is fake. To me, it's like the YouTube rabbit holes I go down on whatever random topic. It's like I can go so far until I'm like, okay, I've wasted enough time. I'm done. And I think it would be the same way with following somebody who's fake and completely AI generated. You can only be entertained by it so much as that they are fake and it is made up.
Well, you say that, but then people are entertained by New Empire. So there's some people that will always be entertained.
Well, I mean, there's a minority of
I don't see it any different as like fake X accounts, like the one the Rev whatever. It's like
great.
that's not a real person behind that account,
right?
But the person portrayed in the account is not a real person,
right?
And millions of people follow that person.
Well, because but again,
that's a parody account,
right?
It is,
and there's an entertainment factor there. I mean, again, like people can turn their brains off and say, "I'm going to go enjoy this mindless action," more so than I would hope would be part of this society.
I'm just sitting here thinking, if Chris Pratt isn't real, my life is over.
He doesn't know what
broken. That's it.
He's
literally he was real, but he's still fat, and he's still just sitting on a couch eating chips in Parks and
amazing.
Rec, and he never had that body change and became a good actor. Yeah, like.
But then I mean, and like I don't
I'm
want to
done.
go down so much of the rabbit holes of like what constitutes reality versus what's
Yeah,
fake.
well, everything's fake. We're living in the Matrix,
but no,
man.
I mean you could easily go down that rabbit hole. But I think the closer we get to some of these revelations, the closer we are to actually acknowledging that we want to return to reality.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many more people out there who, again, quote unquote, want to go out and touch grass than there are people who want to escape. You can get in, you can put the Apple Vision Pro on, you can see how cool it is, but nothing truly beats actually experience. It's all a poor form of imitation. And I'm not saying it's not going to get more advanced. Clearly, it is by the day.
Yeah.
But I do think that, I mean, even going back to, again, one of the worst addictions in our culture right now with pornography. Yeah, you're right. For the short term, you could easily say it's a net positive because it's saving all these women from actually having to degrade themselves and demean themselves in that way. And yeah,
See, I already hate AI.
they're heartbroken. Keith's revealing a lot on tonight's show.
Yeah.
He's really worried about all those midget performers out there.
Trying to take my port away.
I know. But he wants them to be real. He wants them to suffer.
He so wants them to be real. But it is. It's I think a disturbing part of, or while that you look at that short term gain, to me you go back to a movie like Her, with Joaquin Phoenix, and the whole movie is supposed to showcase how real something can seem, but how far from reality it really is. And there's that rude awakening of, doesn't matter if you create this beautiful AI personality that matches everything you want and can never do no wrong, never argues with you, blah, 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 blah. Again, you can quote unquote be your own God in that sense, but there's still this hole and this void left inside because it isn't completing.
Yeah.
It doesn't complete you. It is emptiness.
Maybe it'll get to the point where, like you said, people will realize that there's nothing real here, and then AI will die out. And people will
That
go
would
back.
be a weird turn.
People will revert
That would
back.
be a weird turn, as if AI just destroys itself because it realizes there's no net good in it. And it's just like, I'm done. I'm going away now. Actually, that is kind of what happens in Her.
Yeah.
She leaves him.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre because he's heartbroken, and it's like, wait, this fake
great.
Well, doesn't
AI leaves him because she's found something better.
everybody have her?
Well, she
And
found
there are other people that have
She
her.
leaves him because she's found someone more interesting. So
Yeah.
he's heartbroken because it's like, oh wow, this thing that I instilled and created
right.
has now found something even better than
than
me.
me.
And it's a good thought provoking
It
movie,
is.
but
It's
it,
good.
it really is like, it's eerie to think about because you're right. I mean, it's not like the things we're talking about now haven't either already even thought about or even experimented with. It's the first avenues that freaking AI went into.
Yeah.
But it's just until it becomes mainstream and people are just kind of, they're pushing it to the side like, nah, we'll never go that direction. We're closer than you think. All right, we got to wrap up this show. So let's move into our real quick. This actually should be pretty good. Let's get into our vices topic. All right, let's talk about our vices.
It's working! It's working!
We have so many
That's
more.
mine.
Have you already used that
He
tonight?
did.
I use this one already, too.
Yeah.
He never uses any others.
I used
I think
three others
I think
tonight.
the rule should be you can only use each one once.
That's right.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
It's like that midget porn, man. He just can't get enough of it.
I also used You're Killing Me,
You
Smalls.
did use that
Yeah,
one.
I know.
You did use
And maybe
that
that's the only one I used tonight.
one. You used to use the Twilight Zone one all the time.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I can force
No,
those
not
into
for
any.
those-
Yes, I can force those into any situation. The other ones have to be more specific.
Yeah.
And plus, you don't like to turn the page on there.
I do. That's how to get the Killing Me, Smalls. There's nothing on that page that really fits a lot of situations.
I don't even know what's on that page.
This one would fit more.
There
But
you
that's
go.
about it.
Yeah.
I almost used this one earlier, but I couldn't figure out where to stick it.
Man, we haven't had that one in forever.
Yeah.
It's that one's a little harder to
Say the whole AI
know.
conversation has provoked some responses.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's Jacob says we're going down the path of a Wall-E. Like, would
Yeah,
that
yeah,
actually
yeah.
happen?
Very
Which I don't
much.
see that as being.
Oh, that's already happening. Everybody's
yeah.
getting fat.
I mean,
But I see it. Yeah,
Is it
there.
AI in Wall-E that it's like? I mean, the people are still there,
but they don't
just
control it. They just sit in their chairs and watch their videos and let the computers run everything.
That's true.
And then they realize because the main like computer gets mad when they try to shut it down.
Right. Yeah, I'm remembering
They're
that
just
now.
big sloths.
Then Brian says, so why should we buy Tesla? They use AI, which I would say they use tidbits of AI,
right?
Look
Siri,
at them. They're driving off the road and killing people. Like
it's crazy.
AI is not that great when it runs you into a semi truck.
Game over, man. It's game over.
That's a good one. That's a good one to use. But no, I mean, look at your phone. Your phone, you've got AI on it.
Yeah.
I mean, Siri and what's the Amazon Alexa equivalent? It's like
Cortana's over. They ended that one.
And so
it was a
hell.
bust.
I just installed the latest update of Android on my tablet. And it's Samsung's got AI built into all their apps now.
Yeah.
On the web browser, I was playing with it before the show started. It has an AI feature where it'll summarize the website or web page that you're looking at, and it was legit. Like I did the Civil War article, and I hit summarize, and it created just like bullet points from the website, and it did it awesome. It did it in like 10 seconds. It's crazy.
Awesome. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, and like
that's how I see AI being useful.
Dude, I mean, even in the weirdest way of like predictive text used to be terrible. It's gotten so much better when it's an email or even on my phone. And I'm like, there's still moments where it screws up or it changes. Like when I'm like, what the hell? And it wants to say, what the hell? And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm clearly using a word still. Like I hate when it corrects a word that you do use. Yeah. Or that is correct into something that is another correct. I'm like, no, just leave it as is.
You say y'all and it says you all or something like that.
I'm like, no, anything. I want the slang.
Yeah.
But it just kills me because I'm like, there are things that I have seen that have gotten better and improved. But and like you said, even there's things that I'm like summarizing, and there's ways in which it can make your job and your task at hand easier, no doubt. It's just how much of that. I mean, I think of it in terms of like anything else. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
And just like with reading nowadays, it's like illiteracy is only going to skyrocket when you don't even have to read nothing because it's just going to, it's like a chip in your brain and it just implants the information. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's just, it's creepy. It's creepy.
Yeah. So the Wall-E situation, because Jacob is, I think, correcting what he was originally saying, is that people finally realized that they didn't need the robots.
Yeah, he said keep that. Yes, he said I hit it, but
they
I
want
think
to climb out of the
it.
chair. Yeah.
I think that's kind of alluding to what I was saying, where I think it, or even what Sean was bringing up, how AI could destroy itself after it realizes like it's a net negative.
But none of this has anything to do with
it. Doesn't.
No,
we went back, but hey, that was good. It was a really good topic of discussion on AI in general. But it was. The Vices segment tonight is a movie that you'll finish regardless of where it starts. So we're talking about that time when you're flipping through TV. Like, who does that anymore? Because now we just all have a la carte.
Yeah.
But if you're just flipping through and you're just like, oh, that's on, I'll watch this. I'll finish this.
Well,
what do y'all have?
It never happens because I don't flip through TV anymore.
I was gonna say that, but
okay. Well, then you put something on, you stop, and then you come back later and you're like, all right, I'll just pick up where I left off.
Oh, that's anything I watch. I don't ever go back to the beginning unless it's been
let's make this easy. When I did watch television,
thank you. That's what I'm alluding to.
The 10 Commandments is absolutely one that didn't matter where I picked up at. The Christmas Story, if that's on, it doesn't matter. Perfect. Christmas Vacation's the same way. It's funny because most of them are the holiday type movies. But even
it's almost like they're made to be that way.
You know, I used to watch the Friday the 13th marathons. Yeah. And it's like whatever movie it was on, I would just finish Halloween. I'd finish watching that one and start the next one. So it's
you're right. It's well, and it's movies I've seen a lot.
Yes.
I mean, movies that I know forwards and backwards, and it's like I know right where they're at. I mean, Forrest Gump's one of those. If I pick it up in the middle, I can easily finish it because I know exactly.
You've seen it enough to know what happened before.
Right.
Yeah.
And enough that I don't have to go back and revisit that. Yeah. I'll just pick it up from here. You know, but it's such a good movie. I'm willing to watch it from this point and actually finish it. Yeah. Because I enjoy it that much.
No, yeah. A Christmas Story is a big one because that's on 24 hours anyways. So, like, I might start it in the middle and then watch it all the way through, and then it starts over, and I just keep watching it. Yep. And again, anything like you said, like horror marathons, like Halloween every year when it was on TV, I'd just start wherever. For me, Shawshank was one that came on TV all the time.
That's a good one.
That's true.
Like that was always on TV, and
Always
like I'd flip it, like there it is, and I love that movie. So I'm like, okay, wherever we're at, we're going for it.
I think we were at a bowling alley last Christmas, and we were sitting there, and while we were bowling, Venom was on one of the TVs, and it was on FX, and I was like,
that's not.
I wouldn't watch that.
No. No,
I just
I wouldn't watch that anyway. Like
I mean, I wouldn't watch it if I was bowling with my family on Christmas.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was just. And
I don't even know why you would have that on.
That's
but-
what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, why do they have this on this channel?
Yeah.
Like, why FX with Venom? Like, why is this on?
Well, why
Christmas
is FX
Eve?
playing that on Christmas Eve? You would think they'd have a Christmas movie. Like all the other channels show Christmas stuff. I don't know.
Spider-Man is another one. I can watch that anytime.
Well, the Sam Raimi ones.
Yeah.
right?
Yes, Sam Raimi ones. Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm glad you caught me on that one. But no, I mean, it's like Saving Private Ryan is one
That's
that
good.
I can actually. That's one that I'll actually. We'll do this on another segment. Movies that you sometimes will only watch a section of it, just because it's so good. Think
That's
about that one.
interesting.
That'll be for another topic of a different day. Like where you'll actually just watch one portion of it because you like that portion so much, and then.
I don't know if I've ever just started a movie just to watch one part and then
Really?
turn it off. Yeah.
Never?
I mean, if I was like, if you all were over my house and I was like, oh my god, this scene in this movie is so funny, you guys see it, and I
Well,
go
like-
to that one scene and show it and then turn the movie off, that's one thing. But
Yeah.
for me, it's like, no, I'm not gonna watch a movie just to watch one
I
part.
don't know. There's been time. Maybe it's just because having like a
or at least I can't think of one.
like having a filmmaker like mindset. There's been times where I'm like, I want to study a scene or a scene pops into my head, and I rewatch just that portion. Like I'll skip to it and just see it, and I'll watch it like 2 or 3 times until I get my fix. And then
I've
I'm
done
like,
that
okay,
with Endgame. I've just watched the end of Endgame just for the heck of it.
just because of like
Not in a while, like when it first. But I mean, I was like, I'm not going to watch like the whole 3 hours right now. I'm just going to watch this
just
end
want
because
that-
it's just
Yeah.
awesome.
that goosebump.
yeah,
scene
yes,
was
yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Cap on
Yep.
your left.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
then
okay,
yeah.
that scratched that itch. I'm good.
Right. I don't know why, but like I think of like No Country for Old Men. Just like the first
gas
scene.
station
Oh,
scene?
the
I do
Dark
like the
Knight.
gas station scene.
When I watch right up to like when the Joker comes in at the meeting table and like his first main entrance, and then once he does that and he kicks out, I'm like, okay, that was cool. Like, I just wanted to
I've never
see
done
up
that.
to that performance. I like sometimes watch it and envision the first time I saw it or the first time other people saw it and what they try to think of what they experienced while watching it. I don't know. What was another? Oh, Saving Private Ryan, the beach scene, like all the way up and through D-Day, which is like a good first half hour of the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
But once they get off the beach, I'm kind of like,
He's like,
all
I'm
right,
done.
I'm good. That was good. That was
I
good.
just watched
for
the
all-
opening of the movie.
Like,
I'm done.
yeah, it's like no, the whole movie is great, but yeah, it's that
Jacob's
one scene.
calling you out, Brandon.
Uh-oh.
He said a true filmmaker would watch someone else's full project because they
No.
appreciate the craft.
I have never done that on a movie I've never seen before. I only do it on movies.
well, how,
I
yeah,
have.
how,
Yeah,
would you,
yeah,
how
yeah.
would you know there was
Exactly.
a scene if you
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen it?
Exactly. So I literally, if it's a movie that I've seen and I thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, I used to do it all the time. It's like, especially like, there was one specific scene I know in Dead Man's Chest that I loved. And it was mainly because of the music and how it was orchestrated with the scene.
Yeah.
But I would just like skip to it and watch it. And At World's End, I love, there's scenes in that movie.
I've done it with musicals. Like I was just like, man, I just like The Greatest Showman. I was like, I just want to watch that
Yeah.
that number.
I
like
will-
the bar
I will say
number.
that,
So
yeah.
I've just
Yep.
like watched
I
just
have
the
done
scene
that.
of the because
Just
I love
that-
that. The bar.
That's how I am with
scene,
music too. Like I very rarely listen to an entire song. Like I
Oh,
will
wow,
I will
really?
play Apple Music and I'll like, especially if I create a station, I'll skip through until I find a song I like the final countdown comes on, and I'll like listen to the first verse and the chorus, and then I'm like, oh, what's next? And skip to another song.
For major popular songs, I will do that. Like, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Not most of the time. I'm just like, there are days I'm antsy and I just want to find something. But once I find one I like, I typically just leave it on there. But if it's something that's like heavily played or like a major popular song, like, I'm like, okay, I just want to relive this first hook and then I'm good.
Yep.
You know, when
I'm
I think
out.
about it in terms of like actually getting like on the internet, like I'll look up like I won't like put a movie on the TV, but like I'll get on YouTube and
look
like
up the scene.
Like just look up the scene.
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
Like Ghostbusters. Like I've done that with
Yep.
like with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's almost exactly what I'm
when
talking
someone
about.
asks you if you're a god, you say yes. Like
Right.
I love that.
And honestly, more so, that's more convenient nowadays because,
Yeah.
like you said, one, you can almost pull up any clip of any movie anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it was like, oh, I have to go get the DVD and put it in.
yeah.
But like even Rudy, like the scene where he gets the letter to Notre Dame, like, whew, that's a good one.
They do these like
The Village, I don't know why, but the scene where she comes in and she's holding out her hand outside the door, and Joaquin Phoenix comes
Grabs
up
her.
and grabs it, and
Yeah.
it slow-mo's in. I'm like, it's just beautifully done.
They have like just like abridged videos now, like kind of like how they've made like abridged novels where like they cut out stuff just so you get the summary. It's like now you could like watch like movies or episodes in like 5 minutes where it's just like it cuts to like like it just cuts through.
Didn't we
to, like, the
thought
most
about
epic
doing
of
that
scenes.
one time. We were going to call it Spark Clips or something.
Yeah.
And we
It's-
were going to do it. It was like we were going to watch a movie, and then after so many like minutes, it would start speeding up.
Yeah.
Until it just, and then we were going to try to piece together what the movie was about.
Yes,
I know
yes.
we were going to do
that. Was,
Yeah.
but this is literally just like the movies, but
Snippets.
but snippets to give you like the main gist and move on. Like it's not
That's
quite
just,
the same.
it's-
Yeah.
That's ADHD on overdrive.
It works really
Yeah.
well, though. I've watched a couple episodes of SpongeBob that way. I don't mean to. I go down because they pop
Hey,
up. But
actually, and that's probably the best way to consume
Probably
content
because
that you don't
it's a
want to
terrible show.
Maybe I need to do that with like
At
One
least it is
Piece.
now.
If I could do that with One Piece,
Yeah, but that's a
and-
good show.
But that's what I'm saying is like there's far too many for me
Yeah.
to ever watch.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna do it.
But
we
I'll be
got to do some of those segments.
We should.
We
yeah.
need
I remember
to.
it was one of them was going to be trailer trash, where
Yes.
we watch a trailer and just
And bash it.
Yeah.
Trailers of like what we
Yeah.
are definitely some terrible movies.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we've talked enough. We need.
We're
to
not
get
too
going.
far over. It's not too bad.
I swear, every time we get on one of our topics, and I'm like, we're gonna make it tonight. We're gonna be good.
Oh, we were doing really good, and then AI,
AI is a
and
hot
then,
topic.
and then
AI was
Jacob
hot
and
topic.
Brian started talking to us.
Just love
Gosh,
it. Love it.
just started chatting.
That's right. Well, they can chit chat with us all night online by following, liking, and sharing, and subscribing to all of our social media accounts right there at the bottom of your screen. Red Moon Book on Facebook, Red Moon Tweet on X, Red Moon Pics on Instagram, and of course, search for Red Moon Productions on both YouTube and Rumble. Appreciate all the love there and that old-fashioned way of
Say,
reaching
what if
out
they
to
don't want to
us.
get on social media?
They can
They can email us.
email us. What is the way they would email us?
RMPodcast at redmoonproductions.com.
Every time he says it, just chill. Get a chill.
Chills
All right,
down
guys.
your brain.
That's going to do it for this
Still.
episode of the Red Moon Podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us. Oh, she knows.
There she
She
comes.
knows what time it is. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
and
Keith Whitley,
Keith Whitley. Not Urban. Keith Whitley.
another country singer.
Still in the country.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For more reviews, previous podcast shows, and everything Red Moon, visit our website, redmoonproductions.com. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for Red Moon Productions, LLC. We'll see you at the movies.